welcome Simon, who is chair of the Electoral Commission of Uganda, who is busy at this very material time, and thank him for sparing some moments to come and interact with young people. Ndugu Byabakama, you are most welcome. We are among brothers and sisters, and we are all anxiously waiting to hear your work.
I was protesting to Prof that it should not be Honorable Rukungiri to invite me. He's up there, below him, because he's a senior citizen, and his profile speaks for itself. Well, let me get the protocols right. The Right Honorable Prime Minister Emeritus, Dr. Ruhakana Rugunda, our elder, man with so many accolades and promotions, Professor Mondo Kagonyera, Mrs. Grace Mutebire, Chair of the International Community of Banyakigezi, Uganda Chapter, Dr. Bahana, Board Chair, Dr. Andrew Chair of the Youth Chapter, and all of you distinguished young people, the citizens of this country, good morning. First of all, I must say I was greatly humbled and honored when I received the invitation to come and interface or talk to the young people who hail from the great Kigezi area. In our time, it used to be known as a district. It has given birth to multiple districts. And he said, thank you for having considered me well to come and speak to you at this critical time. Indeed, as Julia said, today I was supposed to be at a function where my deputy chairperson and the entire family are celebrating 100 years of her father, and also launching his book, Mulamuzi. The father was the magistrate of those many years back. And he always refers to me as his senior, because for him I think he was a magistrate grade 2, grade 3, like that. And for me, I went to the level of the Justice of the Court of Appeal. But I revere him for the foundation those people laid in serving the judiciary after independence. So I should have been there, but I told her when I had this invitation, and she acknowledged that I should be here and engage with my young people. So I don't take this invitation for granted. As a commission, we always desire to engage with every citizen of this land on matters concerning governance, elections, democracy in our country. Because it is our take that each one of us has a role to play in the democratic processes of this country. Therefore, may be here, though I'm chairman, but in the main, in the essence, I'm here to have a conversation with the fellow citizens who are of younger age. Allow me to recognize and commend our senior peers who are in our midst, the men and women who have made great and invaluable contributions to this country at leadership or professional level. I want you to know it is because of the positive foundations that they laid and that have enabled us to be here today and hopefully beyond. The topic of my conversation with you, as been told, is your role as young people in promoting peaceful electoral processes in Uganda ahead of the 2026 general elections. I start by hoping that each one of us here is a registered voter who is prepared to exercise his or her constitutional right in 2026, come January 15th, 2026. And therefore, for that matter, my being invited here is appropriate and timely because, as we all know, this is the season. It is therefore a privilege for me to stand before in a room filled with the heartbeat of our nation, the future leaders who are filled with such vibrant energy, passion, and purpose, the citizens who will shape the democratic landscapes of our country. You are therefore the collective architects of our tomorrow as a country and Africa in general. Today we gather under a very powerful consideration of how we as young people can be active participants in our democratic journey, particularly as you seek to drive participation and accountability for a democratic future. It requires the Electoral Commission to ensure that regular, free and fair elections are held so as to give purpose and life to the sovereign power of the people as prescribed in Article 1 above. However, many people have talked of elections, particularly in the Ugandan context, expressing skepticism or doubt as to the freeness or the fairness of the whole electoral process. Many have gone to opine or to say that Uganda does not hold free and fair elections. You ask yourself why. The understanding of the Commission is that many of the pundits or skeptics who express such views are probably not cognizant or well aware or informed of what constitutes a free and fair election. Because this concept, as I've said time and again, is not defined anywhere in our Constitution or Acts of Parliament. It is only the Supreme Court of Uganda that made an attempt to define what a free and fair election is in the famous case of Dr. Kigezi versus Yoweri Museveni and the Electoral Commission Election Petition number 1, 2001. The court said this: to ensure that elections are free and fair, there should be sufficient time for all stages of the elections: nominations, campaigns, voting, and counting of votes. The candidates should not be deprived of their right to stand for election, and citizens to vote for candidates of their choice through unfair manipulation of the process of electoral officials by electoral officials. There must be a leveling ground of the ground so that the incumbents or government ministers and officials do not have an unfair advantage. The entire election process should have an atmosphere free of intimidation, bribery, violence, coercion, or anything intended to subvert the will of the people. The election procedures should guarantee the secrecy of the ballot, the accuracy of counting, and the announcement of results in a timely manner. End of quote. collective vibe, energy, and voice, the young Banyakigezi can be influencers of principle. The 2026 general elections in Uganda are therefore an opportunity for you, the young people of Uganda, to stand up and show your positivity in the entire process. We cannot allow the prophets of doom and gloom to occupy the space. As young people, we must be there to say no. But in order to fulfill all this, in order to have meaning and drive, we must be imbued with a mindset of belonging and responsibility for our country. Ask yourself, as a young person, what is important for me today? I have highlighted a few things that I want us to know. One, appreciate your country. Understand its history. Where has it come from? Where is it now? Where is it going? What are the challenges of the day? I remind you of the opening words of our Constitution, which those gallant men and women found befitting to remind us every time we open this Constitution and every time we wake up in Mother Uganda. It says, those are the opening words of the preamble, we, the people of Uganda, recalling our history, which has been characterized by political and constitutional instability, recognizing our struggles against the process of tyranny, oppression, and exploitation. It goes on and on and on until the end. But for me, the key highlights in this preamble is we, the people of Uganda, recalling our history, which has been characterized by political are going to be determined in January, between January 15th and February 10th of 2026. But remember, Uganda shall always be Uganda, and its people shall always be its people. The Uganda we want is entirely in our hands. What is your etofwari to that Uganda?
Young people, sorry, that leaders especially keep giving young people. We are constantly blamed for certain things in this country. I'm here to shift that narrative. One, I'm going to start by attacking ICOB. One of our own Kigezi is in prison. Basically. ICOB has never put out a statement in support that he should be released. When we try to hold ICOB accountable, what did they tell us? They are not partisan. Who was ICOB dealing with last year in Kanugu and surrounding districts? The president. So is ICOB non-partisan? Is the president of Kigezi? Yes. I don't think so. No, he's not. He's not. The president of Kigezi. We've never stood by him. What does non-partisan mean? Peaceful elections. I think you from yesterday you've already seen the news. Yeah? Already the blame is on young people. But why does the state assume it has monopoly over violence? You want to beat us, you want to tell us we are reckless, but then you see police arresting young people for nothing. The same lady who was undressed yesterday. We wouldn't get this news if police wasn't doing all these acts, would we? But we come here and the narrative we are hearing is that young people are violent. The state is violent every day. We are traumatized. The CDF will go on Twitter and start telling us, I want to arrest harmless women. Isn't that violence? Where is the peaceful election happening? Where is it happening in Uganda? We need to know. And we are constantly told that civic participation is not just during the electoral process of voting, right? It's the 5 years before and the 5 years after these processes. But in between, we are met with violence. But then again, we are blamed. They are telling us, it's because you're jobless, they are paying you to destabilize this country. Who? You've raised us. Our people, you've raised us, these who are talking back to you. We have not inherited the silence of the fathers before us and our mothers. We are going to talk. So young people are not violent. That narrative has to change. We are doing our part for peaceful elections. We are pushing for proper electoral processes. But again, there are no ceilings to how much people are spending in elections. You're putting the burden on us and our future. How are we going to sustain this kind of elections in the coming years? 3 billion for just for MP. You've talked about 3 million just to go to be signed and nominated. What happens in that period? People are borrowing billions and billions of money to sustain positions, to get into positions. What is your role? Why aren't you pushing your parliament? These are people you sit with in your saunas. They always tell us that's why decisions are made. Talk to them. It is your duty to make sure that because as we come here, you're going to beat us and then say we are now violent. So who is going to talk to them? How are we going to sustain these elections in the coming years? When now majority of our elders are not here. That burden is on us, these people in the room. We cannot sustain these elections anymore. And we're being honest. So we can't talk about peaceful elections when all these things are happening in the country. But we blame young people and fail to recognize the role we are playing as leaders and as elders. We are traumatized. And we need to heal as a country.
Who has the knowledge about transforming the country, especially on policies. We believe without the right policies, we not have peace in the country. We cannot have economic thriving like we would be having it if we do not have the right policies. We are encouraged to be a policeman in the election. Dear youth, I encourage ourselves to put us before God, work hard. Because you cannot be a policeman when you're hungry. Let's work. I want to agree with him. In 12 countries, youth or young people work hard, especially on hands-on skills. The government may not be able to take us all on, but we can still have it on. My point I'm stressing to Justice Byabakama. I haven't seen the Electoral Commission doing sensitization in universities. Uganda has the youngest population. 77% of the Ugandans are youth. They are mostly happening in universities and tertiary institutions. And actually, others are in secondary schools. You have focused on outside the institutions and universities. I request you do a mindset change, sensitization in universities. It could be through collaboration with student leaders, because they know what you do not know with the students. We have seen youth, especially students, causing or letting countries down. Of the recent who had the power, we have seen what has happened in Tanzania, the Gen Zs in Kenya. Take an example. Let's not follow the road. Let's have it. Let's cooperate with young people, especially the students and all the student initiatives. Otherwise, I will tell them, thank you so much. May God bless you.
The question is, when we are getting to the voters register, some of the students were still at campus and weren't registered back to their places of residence, and they would like to vote from there. I would like to know, because it wasn't to the sensitization of some students who were at campus to go back home to register in the voters register. So how are we going to go back home and vote? And we going against our right of voting? Another question is, Justice has talked about bribes. I don't think it is what is happening back in the village and in the field. Bribes has become something that is so much for everyone that even a candidate, by the time he's coming to do the campaign, the first thing he has to do is to first bring money to the people so that they can come and gather. So I don't know how the Electoral Commission is going to handle that, so that we can take away bribes and give a chance for the people who would have the ability to lead but do not have the monetary support to the voters. Another question is, we have been studying and hearing our elders talking about you are the future leaders of tomorrow. We are already in our future. We don't have a chance to lead. The time I go back to my village to stand as an MP, even 1%. Because the other people who are leading will bring millions of money to the people and I will not have the money to give to them. That means
Makerere chapter. Recently we went to the General Secretary and asked him, come and talk to the youth. And I said, no, I'm no longer coming. Because his reason was the youth always want to criticize what is happening. They are no longer want to take action. My brother Major said 77% of the Ugandans are youth. So to be practical, if an MP had 1 million and gives out to people, what portion have the youth taken? That is 77% of the money. So it is us, the youth, that are really taking out the money and making the politicians invest a lot in the elections. If we stand out and refuse that money as youth, we are fighting commercialization of politics. Yes. So, I don't know the criteria that you used to make them ladies. Where are you living the boy child? The boy child. I don't know whether ICOB is also considering the boy child. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So from that point of view, I don't think if I was the judge, I would rule out any free and fair election from nomination day. You say campaigns. I think we follow campaigns before even we got the MPs. From how far the campaigns are born. If I were you, Justice Simon Byabakama, I would have cancelled this election because the campaign trail is not free and fair. So these ones cannot be termed as free and fair elections. We talked of free from intimidation. I'm telling you today, if you are to say you're for noob here, even I can't be sure, but you can't say that because you may fear that a black person who came with Justice Simon Byabakama, he may ask the name on the tape and like, who is that person? What is the name? So I can't say there's fair and fair free from intimidation.
Let's summarize your question.
I think I'm asking from what he submitted. I'm not going far from it. And then you talked of corruption, bribing, or commercialization. I think if this was a normal state, a democratic state, I think Honorable Simon Byabakama should have resigned because corruption. No, I think you also in your heart you know it. This election, corruption is high. We need bribing. Even the recently concluded federal elections, I think the money spent in those elections is, I think it is higher given the money that will be spent in the national elections. So commercialization is, I don't think if when you say that 2026 elections is going to be a free and fair elections, now I said from the beginning, from the nomination day, according to the Supreme Court judgment, I don't think in your right senses you
have waterfalls, have cascades, and so on. That's why they tap those waterfalls and harness power from the waterfalls. So therefore, this anger, this energy, and the vibe the youth have should be harnessed through constructive processes. And indeed, I agree with you that we need to address the critical issues that we as young people view as impinging on our opportunity to be active participants in the processes that define the democratic dynamic of our country. But the question is, how are we going to do it? And is it by daily demonstrations? We're expressing our disappointment, our efficacy, our disapproval by going out on the streets, confronting security, banning anything in our way? No, that's not it. When the young people sit down as one critical voice and express their views and ideas, and seek to hold those in leadership to account, the people in leadership will listen. But there is saying that violence begets violence. When you want to pursue the violent path to express your views and your enchantment, then those in authority will not allow this to prevail, because you are going to destabilize the country. So coercive means will be applied to counter you. Have we tried, as Banyakigezi, as young people, to express our views in a civil manner of dialogue, discussion, and engagement? And those who have the decision-making authority have cast everything you have said under the carpet, under the table.
The leadership of ICOB, members, youth members of ICOB, indeed, it's fantastic that we have been able to gather here. The first remark I will make is to thank our guest speaker, although he's moving out himself. So I want us to because more often than not, people don't speak their mind, but he spoke his mind, and that's why many of you got provoked, which I totally agree with. I agree with those who, and I don't take nonsense, but I'm extremely happy. I've never seen such a disciplined organization. Very, very much. Really, I'm grateful. It is important that you belong to organizations. Because if you are not organized, as individuals, you can never achieve anything. So I implore you to continue to belong to this organization. However even imperfect it may be, but when you are working together, you exchange ideas, you exchange views, you can get what you want achieved, realized. So it is important to belong to organizations like this one.
In an excellent meeting. Do you agree? And I want to take this opportunity to thank our keynote speaker, Chancellor Byabakama, for the excellent communication to all of us. And in the same breath, I want to thank our elder, Professor Mondo Kagonyera, for his very good remarks. We couldn't have had better advice of determining the destiny of our country, because the elections that Byabakama is organizing in January, you, the young people of Uganda, are the majority of the voters. So you have no choice but to give Uganda a good government and to give Uganda good leaders. Somebody raised the issue of money. That if you don't have money, you have nothing to say. The youth are strategic plan.
Thank you. Thank you. As the elder signed our strategic plan, we would wish the youth after sharing the final copy. I would wish that we participate accordingly and everyone has been included in our strategic plan so that we can have our goals and objectives met.
We thank Honorable Justice Simon to also be among the team, and the youth leaders. Thank you.
By the way, one thing I didn't see you people may not know about me. 60 years ago, I was as young as you. Yes, and I was always involved in student leadership. I was a young man, but I was also a youth. So I have an idea about the problems of young people. I was also...
Kigezi